Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen to another episode of the Supernatural Connection, where we discuss anything and everything dealing with the paranormal, whether it be aliens, alien abductions, witches and Wicca, energy workers such as Reiki, hypnosis, working with entities and deities, and much, much more, so that we may listen and talk about your experiences, so that we may inform others about what is going on in the world around them here on the Supernatural Connection. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Supernatural Connection. Thank you for taking time out to listen to my podcast today on Reiki or Pranic Healing. Which is better, or are they the same? Reiki and Pranic Healing are both great as a modality for healing and keeping that in your toolbox to help not only yourself but others. Now, Reiki is by far the simplest and easiest to use. It can do no harm. It works anywhere, anytime. Once you get it going, it just rolls on, knows what to do, and takes care of it. Pranic healing is good and it's also very powerful. But with pranic healing, you've got to understand how to use the different colors. And yes, you can mix the colors to get different results. And yes, some do exceptionally great job in healing, but they can also do damage if the wrong color is used. If the wrong color is used and the energy is not correct. But it does work exceedingly well in helping to heal. And they both have their limitations. They are not miracle cures. They help the body to heal itself. Now, of course, Reiki has 3 different levels: beginner, intermediate, and master level. And of course, the cost for each one. And you can learn how to use it. And it works out very, very well. Pranic healing, you can go to classes. They are few and far between. There are many, many books out there that will help you to understand how and when and the limitations of pranic healing. Of course, you have to understand that whether you are a pranic or Reiki healer, you should not be making a medical diagnosis. You are there to help. You are there to help modern medicine to help heal the patient. Both healers should not prescribe medication and or medical treatments. That is not what we do. And say, for example, that a doctor has prescribed medication for the patient. It is not the pranic healers or Reiki's healers' position to change that or try to change that. That is up to the medical doctor. Now, you say that healing cannot hurt somebody. Well, it can. Pranic healing can be and is a very powerful tool to have and to use. A good example of this is I had some clients who were smoking and were wanting to quit. So I took their cigarettes, held them in my hand, and sent black energy to those cigarettes for about 5 minutes. And then I gave the cigarettes back to the clients. They took them out, started to smoke the cigarettes, and then started coughing and hacking, and they threw it away. They stated that the cigarettes tasted terrible. They smelled terrible. It made their lungs burn, their throat burn, and wanted to know what I had done to their cigarette. And they were watching me do this the whole time. And all I did was hold them in my hand and send that black energy to that. But what I also learned while doing that was that my hand and arm hurt for about 10 to 15 minutes after that, because the amount of energy and the type of energy going through my body out to those cigarettes was so dense and so powerful that my arm and hand felt the pain of that. So if I could feel that, just think of what the client can feel when you're sending energy to them. That is why if you work with pranic energy, you have to have an understanding of what is going on. You're there to help, not to hurt. And that is why I think, and it's just me, that you have to have a sense of what is going on. Whether it be a sense of what the client is feeling or a knowing of what's going on, that psychic sense, whatever you want to call it, a gut feeling. That is what you need to have, I think, to use with pranic healing. That way you get a better healing for that client. And it works out very well. Some will say that's not a necessity. And it may not be for them. But for me, and I'm just talking for me, that is what I recommend for myself and others. And of course, each and every healer is going to do it to their use, to their way of thinking, to their way of feeling. Because it's a lot of feeling going on. It's kind of that feeling of what's going on, how's it feel, what you should do, that knowing, that sudden inspiration. Well, I need to send a orange-white type energy to do whatever, or send that Reiki energy into their leg. Know which leg. Reiki will go find out what it needs to do and just take off and do it. That's good. But understanding how it works. Understanding for that healer to open themselves up to allow that energy to flow through them from their crown, through their legs, through their hands, to wherever. Allowing that energy to flow through without restriction. That's the key. And that takes practice. It takes dedication. It takes dedication, time, and practice to do this. So you got to spend a little time on this. You just can't take the classes. You just can't take and spend the money for the Reiki and go out there and work on it. Now you can, of course, but what kind of results are you going to get? Do you not care what kind of results you want to get? If you don't, just jump on it and ride and go at it. If you do care, if you are really dedicated to healing people and wanting to do the correct thing, then practice with it. Use it. Understand it. Know what is going on around you and through you and to others. That is what it's all about. And it takes time, it takes effort, and it takes practice on your part. So, can anyone do this? You betcha. They really can. If they want to put the time and the practice into it. And if they have the monies within their budget to buy the books, to take the classes, and learn from there. Can they do miracles? It depends on what your definition of miracle is. Can it do miraculous type things? Yes, it can. It really can. It can't regrow limbs, can't bring back the dead, and things like that. But it can take away the pain. It can promote the healing and help the body heal itself. That is what it can do. And anybody can do this. If you're going to use pranic healing, you got to be able to visualize. You have to be able to visualize that. And that takes practice sometimes. With Reiki, not so much. You got to visualize the person. If you're sending distant energy to them, visualize that energy going to them and working through that. And you can feel that energy going through your body. Yes, you can. Your head may tingle a little bit as you get used to it. Your fingers, your hands, your arms. You can heat up and start tingling all over. That's always a unique experience. But yes, it does happen. It happens quite a bit. That's why when I go to bed at night, I try not to do any healing when I'm laying there, because it heats me up and winds me up a little bit, and then I have a hard time getting to sleep. But I still do it because it's a necessity. I'm quiet, everything is quiet, and I can do a better job of it. But I also realize it's just going to take a little bit longer to go to bed and get some quality sleep. So to really sum it up, is one better than the other? No, not really. They both work well. It just depends on the individual using it. That's what makes the difference. I've been doing this for over 25 years. I've used them both. And I've used other energies too, because once you start using energies, doing energy work, I think it opens you up to the other energy. You begin to change your way of thinking, of course. You begin to feel the other energy, and you begin to look at how you can use them to help heal not only yourself but to others. And that's the key, I think. And if I had to do it all over again, would I do that? Yes, I would. I do not see any problems in what I have learned, how I have learned, how I have used the different energies whatsoever. I've always used them with the intent, and that's a key word, with the intent of helping others. And that to me is the key. Now, other people will think differently, and that's because we're all different folks. That's it. But to do this, you have to do your research. And as you well know, in this day and age, there is all kinds of information out there. Good information and bad information. Some people are out there saying they can do this, that, and everything else and haven't got a clue. So the best advice for that is, when you're talking with somebody about this or anything else, do your research. Ask them valid questions. With energy work, a simple question, I think, would be, hey, so you can do energy work? And they say, well, yeah, I can. Would you mind doing some energy work on me, or sending me some energy so that I could see what's going on and how that feels? I don't see anything wrong on that. It just takes us a few seconds for that person to send that energy to you, and then you can make a quality judgment on that. That's a good way to do it, if you so choose to do that. But is it for everybody? No, it really is not for everybody, because some people do not want to put the time into it. They do not want to be bothered by it. They do not want to experience the upheaval it can do to you as you learn this new modalities, and it begins to change the way you think of things, the way you see things, the way you feel things. You may be able to walk into a room and it feel entirely different after you begin to do these type of modalities, because you become more aware. You become more sensitive to them. And then, of course, you have to look at ways to protect yourself from that. You have to look at ways to clean yourself of the energies. A lot of healers get sick because they help people, they want to help people, and they do, but they take on that disease or ailment or whatever and do not cleanse their own energy fields or their own bodies. And that is what you have to do. You have to learn, and then you have to actually put it in practice of cleansing your energy. What to do with that energy. If you're working with somebody and clearing that energy out of them, what do you do with that energy? You just let it sit there? Or is it still going to come into you? What do you do? And there's ways to do that. Me, when I'm working with somebody and cleansing them out and taking the crap off of them, I imagine green fire. Just a beautiful green fire, a lake of green fire, just however you want to look at it, and put that energy into that. I don't draw it into myself. I don't draw it anywhere around there. And if you're doing a one-on-one session, I don't put it into a plant. There was one book I read where people were putting it into plants. That kills the plant. If you want to do an experiment, get you a plant, take energy, bad energy out of people, plants, or animals, and put it in the plant and watch the plant die. Now, that's not right. So, but if you imagine with me a green fire, a green energy, and putting that old diseased energy into it, then it just dissolves it, takes care of it. And you cut the cords from your body so you're not continually hooked up to whoever or whatever you're working with. These are the techniques that you have to learn, that you have to use to keep yourself healthy, safe. There's always a cost to this stuff. Never, ever forget that. But just stay safe. That is the key, to stay safe in what you do. And the naysayers out there will beat you up, beat you down, talk to you down and everything else, but believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities. Believe that you can make a difference and go out there and make that difference. So there again, thank you for coming by and listening to this, and I hope I've helped somebody.